Time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by Utke Heating and Cooling. I said it earlier in the show, deep freeze coming up tonight, so all your stuff's going to stop growing probably. 48 degrees, cloudy skies right now. For tonight, a low of 31.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Download the Wendy's app today.
Welcome in hour number 2, 3 o'clock hour. And it's going to be a very cold Thursday. Steve Sparky Fifer with you as your broadcast live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Charlie Usen producing Other Side of the Glass. Brandon Sprague during Sprague 105.1 The Fan in Portland joins us coming up at 3:20. Talk about this FBI sting operation, Operation Royal Flush. We'll talk more about him because the Trailblazers are accused of several things in this deal, including their head coach who's got put in cuffs last night, Chauncey Billups. So we'll talk to him at 3:20. Charlie Sounds today coming up at 3:40. And Charlie Usen, whose birthday is today as well. So what are the plans for the birthday? What are you, 32 today? How old are you? I can't hear you. Sorry, what?
You got to learn to hit the right button.
I don't know why I don't know why I turned your button off ever. It should just always stay on. But anyways, go ahead.
No, I'm not 32 yet. I'm 24 years old.
If you look at him on YouTube, he don't look his age. Go ahead.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think
you
I
look much older.
A spry 24.
When you're clean shaven, then yes, I say you look younger. With all the facial hair you got going, no, you look older. All right,
I don't think I've ever once been ID'd, like at a bar or anything. Not really.
Good for you. I was ID'd till I was like 40. But that's fine. All right. So what did you get something for your birthday?
Me and my girlfriend, we gave each other boo baskets, which is, you're not allowed to say anything. You were just telling me about all the different Christmas decorations.
Baskets?
Yeah. So you just put a bunch of like candy presents together in little baskets and stuff. So that's usually what we do.
So you did that for Sweetest Day?
Well, no, that was just kind of like a thing that we do.
Oh,
again,
okay.
Yeah, like Sweetest Day, I think that's something you made up. I need other people to tell me.
So you didn't do anything when I told you it was last Saturday?
I did not. I was busy on other things.
It's a Great Lakes holiday. It's a Great Lakes region holiday. Google it, Sweetest Day.
It's a thing. It's a thing, but it's not a thing because I've never heard of it before until you brought it up.
I'm here to help. Well, happy birthday. I'm sorry you have to work on your birthday and deal with me. I apologize.
There's worse jobs to be doing on your birthday, so I'm cool with it.
Well, that makes me feel better about myself. Okay, let's get into what's going on in the NCAA. Now, obviously, the football stuff has been talked to death, so we don't need to do that. But there's now controversy in college basketball as well, and numerous head coaches are none too happy with what's going on. So what's going on is we have a basketball player that the University of Louisville snagged from the G League and brought in. Now, as you all know, the G League, they get paid, right? So before, if you didn't want to go to college and you didn't want to go overseas, the G League was a way to go and play for a year or two or whatever, and then able to enter the NBA draft. So that was the way to go about it. Well, now all of a sudden, apparently, it appears the NCAA is fine with these college programs snatching kids from the G League that have been coached by NBA-style coaches in the whole deal and playing at that level. Now, before, if you were paid to play, you lose your amateur status. You can't go back and play in the NCAA. It's over. It's all. If you signed an agent, it was over. So if you went into the draft, signed an agent, and then nobody drafted you, you're on the streets. Go play in the CBA. Go play for the lacrosse Bobcats or something, or on Alaska, whatever. Or find your butt overseas and go play over there. But it's not happening in the NBA, and you're done. That's how it used to be. Well, now what? Now we got NIL, revenue sharing, and all this other stuff. So now everybody's getting paid. Everybody's getting paid. So some of these head coaches, none too happy. Like this guy here, everybody's favorite. I'm joking. Tom Izzo at Michigan State. Let's see what he has to say.
I listen to people talk of how kids changed. Kids aren't the problem. We're the problem. This was sprung on us again yesterday, where a guy can be in the G League for 2 or 3 years, and then all of a sudden he's eligible. Most of my people knew nothing about it. I don't think our commissioner. I mean, I am not real excited about the NCAA or whoever's making these decisions without talking to us, just letting it go because they're afraid they're going to get sued. So you're right. I said that this really bothers your coach if you're Michigan State fans. But if you want a silver lining in a cloud, I am going to call Magic tonight. I'm going to call Jaren Jackson, Miles, Gary, Max. You know, this just goes to show you how ridiculous people that are in power make decisions. I mean, you know, and I'm going to get killed because someone's going to say, well, if they go pro, it doesn't work out, shouldn't they be able to come back? Well, what about the freshman you recruited there? That's somebody's son. And he thinks he's got himself a good place, and all of a sudden, shazam, they pull out of their hat and bring a 21 or 22-year-old in. To me, it's ridiculous. To me, it's embarrassing. And I love my job. I don't respect my profession. And I don't respect who's ever doing that. Whoever made those decisions, because they're afraid that a lawyer is going to sue them, sooner or later you got to fight the fight. And, you know, if we would have been aware of it, if somebody would have talked to us, maybe it's me, maybe I'm the dummy, but I'll never agree to that stuff. I think we're really hurting the freshmen in high school. I mean, the seniors in high school, giving them a chance. And we're just going to, what's the age limit now? Is it 30? You know, if you have 3 beards and 2 mustaches, are you illegal? You're not allowed to play? I mean, what is it going to be? And so, yeah, you hit a sore spot for me because the transfer portal is enough. You know, we have no rules. And now we just taken no rules and added some more no rules. And if everybody likes that, that's good. And I feel bad if a kid came out early. Maybe we shouldn't come out early. Maybe we should do a better job of helping kids make decisions, said decisions they make, and then, oh boy, I made a bad decision, so I'll go back. But the unintended consequences are the kids that are there will now get screwed and not have an opportunity. And then they'll be transferring, and then we'll have this circle. So I do not know everything about it. I cannot believe that this was sprung on us yesterday. And if it was done earlier and I didn't know about it, shame on me. But my compliance officer didn't know. There are people in this league didn't know. The NCAA's got to regroup. They got to regroup. That's my opinion. Only my opinion. So don't be mad at anybody else. Be mad at us.
I love his opinion. I got no problem with Tom Izzo's opinion on this whatsoever. Because what happens is the kids that are there doing their work and doing all of that, somebody gets screwed and gets bounced, and then we have what we have. My question is, if LeBron James says, hey, I got eligibility, I'm done in the NBA, I'm 40-some years old, but I want to go play at Ohio State and win them a national championship, you going to let LeBron go play because he hasn't played in college before? He should have 4 years of eligibility. He hadn't played at all, right? Victor Wembanyama, he hadn't played. Could he play college and pro at the same time if he was paid enough by Duke or Wisconsin or somebody to go play on Saturdays, play college basketball and play the rest of the week in the NBA. Like, how far are they going to allow this to go? Is the rule going to be if you play in the NBA, then you can't play in college basketball ever again? Because the G League is professional.
I think that would be the rule, is if you've played in the NBA, you can't play again. Yes, the G League is professional, but it's more semi-pro than it is full pro. And I think you look at baseball and a lot of these summer leagues and stuff like that where these guys are going to play there, they don't count that as professional baseball when it comes to playing in the MLB or playing in college or any of that. I have friends that were playing in college and we're playing in those summer leagues at the same time. So you can do that. I think this is kind of in that same range. I don't really understand. I guess I get why Tom Izzo is mad, but I also don't understand why he's so mad. It is kind of my problem here. This kind of feels like Louisville just
you're being
asking the right questions first.
You're being coached by NBA guys and playing with guys, some of which have been played in the NBA before and are vets in the NBA.
Do you think Cooper Flagg, before he made it to Duke, was ever being coached by somebody that was in the NBA or a coach that has coached NBA players before?
No.
You don't think so?
I could be wrong. I don't know the answer to that. I have no idea.
I would beg to differ. I would say that a lot of these guys probably are working with those guys already.
Take the Bucks. They just cut Tyler Smith. He barely ever played, right? And he played in the G League. So because he doesn't have a ton of minutes in the NBA, he never played college basketball. Does he now have eligibility to go play 4 years at Wisconsin if he wants? Because if he does, Greg Gard, get on the phone. But that now opens up a can of worms again as far as who has eligibility and who doesn't, kind of going forward in this thing. Bill Self of Kansas.
Don't want to knock it from a standpoint that who knows, we may be recruiting one before it's all said and done.
Uh-huh.
But I got to know the rule better because I didn't know it was just limited to G League. I thought a guy could get cut in the NBA and be eligible for college. My personal opinion is I have no idea what we're doing. What are we doing? So we're going to go recruit. We're going to call NBA teams and G League teams to find out who would potentially be available, and that's who we're going to recruit now, as opposed to high school kids or even portal kids. And what is the actual rule? Does it have to fit within a 5-year window? Can he go to college first? I don't really understand it well enough to comment too much, other than why wouldn't everybody declare for the draft? If it doesn't work out, go back to college.
Exactly.
Why? I mean, if it is the way that I think it is, which it may not be because I don't understand it well enough yet, it's going to open up some unintended consequences that we're going to have to deal with for sure.
Exactly right. Everybody should declare. Everybody. Because it doesn't matter. You can just go back and play. Who cares? Sign an agent, do what you got to do. Because all these cats got agents now because you have to in order to make the NIL deals. So they got agents anyhow. Before, if you got caught with an agent, and by the way, agents were running things for a lot of these guys anyhow. They just weren't being reported and so forth. But now it's legal. So now you've got agents that are negotiating NIL deals and all this other stuff. So you're not trying to avoid that because that already is in play. Before, that was a no-no, and you wouldn't be allowed to play college basketball or the NFL or college football. So to Bill Self's point, yes. How crazy is it? The Tom Izzo's one of the top head coaches in college basketball. Bill Self is one of the top head coaches in college basketball. Neither one of them knew what the rule was? Neither one of them?
Seems a little hard to believe. I don't know. Like, that seems weird. Again, this just seems like this is something that was there. And to Bill Self's credit, he said it. They just need to be told what the rule is earlier. But also, again, to Louisville's credit, they must have asked the right questions at some point. They must have went out there and found out what the rule is from somewhere.
Or somebody tipped them off. Hey, did you know you could do this? Because technically in the rule book, you can do this. Really? Are you serious? Absolutely. I'm telling you, you're good. Go ahead.
I'm just glad that these coaches seem more mad at the NCAA than they do at Louisville in this situation, because all these guys, if they were in that same position, would have gone and done the same exact thing too.
Now Kelvin Sampson, former Bucks assistant coach, got in all kinds of trouble, remember, in college basketball and got suspended. That's how he ended up in the NBA with the Bucks, and now has had success at Houston. And remember when he got suspended? It was over text messaging, I believe, is what he got in trouble for. Here's Kelvin Sampson.
At some point, somebody's got to step up and say this is wrong. It's not what we signed signed up for. It's not what they signed up for. It's not fair to them either. It's not fair to their parents. You know, we're still at an educational institution, but there's nothing educational about college basketball right now. It's all transactional. And then we go put our head in the sand and act like, well, it'll change eventually. Think how many ADs 5 years ago said, this will play out. This won't last. Okay. Same guys are saying it today. This won't last. It's going to outlast all of us. Because that toothpaste is out of the tube. And you ain't putting it back in. And it ain't going to control it. But what can you control? You can control that transfer portal. And I'm adamant that we are positively impacting lives if we tell a kid that he has to sit out for a year. Transfer, you get one transfer anywhere you want with no penalty. Transfer and go play right away. But you can't do that every year. You know, I mean, we've made a mockery of college basketball to some degree. Now the game is bigger than all of us. You know, when I walked in here today, one of the first things I said was, "This has got Brett Yormark written all over it." That dude is one of the best things happened to Big 12. He keeps us current. But who's keeping the coaches current? Who's checking these rules to see if they're bigger than the game? The rules can't be bigger than the game. The game still is what drives us all. We've got to be guardians. We've got to be the gate holders, the guardians, the people that protect this game. And I don't like the direction that it's going. And I'll be out of it soon enough for all the people that want to call me an old curmudgeon. Maybe I am.
No, yeah, you probably are, just like I am. But regardless of the old curmudgeon talk, there are no guardians of any of these college sports, folks. There are no guardians. It's all driven by money. Man, Chauncey Billups made a ton of money. And this dude's out here, allegedly, being the front guy for rigged poker games. Damon Jones, he made okay money. I mean, not LeBron money, but he made okay money. And allegedly, he's taking like $2,300, $2,500 in order to tell somebody that somebody's not going to play in a game or something. So no matter how rich everybody is, everybody always wants more. Give me more. Greed never stops. And that is what is ruining a lot of things right now. A lot of things are being ruined by that. Coming up next, Brandon Sprague, Dirt and Sprague on 105.1 The Fan. I can only imagine. You know, those fools out there, Dirt and Sprague, they have me on every time something is bad going on with the Packers or the Brewers or the Bucks. Then they have Sparky on. So tables are being turned because now there's some bad stuff going on in Portland. We'll see what they have to say about it. Coming up next, it's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy. See Sparky, Fifer, Charlie Usen, other side of the glass. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Earlier in the show, we talked with Amy Dash, our legal insider. And she gave us her take on Operation Royal Flush. And I gotta be honest, it is my pleasure, so much my pleasure, to bring on my guy, Brandon Sprague, from Dirt and Sprague on 105.1 The Fan. Follow him on Twitter at Brandon Sprague. He joins us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. It's my pleasure because normally when crap flies, it's coming from Wisconsin, and he brings me on to laugh at me and make fun of me. And this time, crap's flying in Portland, and I get to repay the favor. Brandon Sprague, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Hey, thanks for inviting me, Sparky. It's always great to return a favor anytime. You're a good friend of our program. Given the last time we had you on, we wanted to talk about, I want to say it was either Packer or Giannis, and you completely derailed it and turned it into Brewers conversation.
Did I get some Brewer fans, though, to follow along until they lost to the Dodgers?
I mean, when you came on, you mentioned the cheeseburger story, and they kept the winning streak going, so that was kind of cool. But, maybe we should talk about the Portland Timbers, because nothing else in Portland happened last night or today. Definitely not.
You should be impressed that I know that's a soccer team. But that's okay, though. We'll move on. So this is what I'm very curious about all of this. So first off, you have Chauncey Billups making a reference in his post-game press conference about letting the chips fall where they are, and then gets put in cuffs the next morning, involving illegal poker games, allegedly involved with the mafia. What was the initial reaction as all of this was breaking in Portland? Because your radio station had to be flooded with calls and social media and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I don't know what it would be for you. I know you've been doing radio for a long time, man. So I'm sure you got a
calling me old. Appreciate it. Thanks,
well,
Brandon. You're my guy. That's cool.
All right. We're both old. Okay, we're both old.
All right.
I don't know what show it would be for you, but for us, this is the second show now where one topic has basically made me crumple my show sheet, throw it in the trash, and say, this is the story today.
That's right.
It was 5:40 Pacific time. We're on at 6 Pacific time. I saw the Shams tweet, and I don't know why, but my brain stopped at arrested, and I thought, okay, they had a nice little loss. They were competitive against the Wolves. He probably had one too many pops. Here we go, Dewey. And that split second, I was able to think that and then finish a sentence that said, by FBI. And we were stunned, dude, because Chauncey's been polarizing here. They've not been very good from a record standpoint, but this was probably the most anticipated, excited Blazer fans have been since the year after they made the West Finals randomly, because of how bad it's been here. That, hey, we got Tamani Kamara and we have Dames back here, and people just excited about the young talent that they have, and they played really well last night. And then this, and it's just like, I jokingly always say Portland can't have nice things, and I kind of mean it. And here's an example, like coming off of an impressive performance, you fall just short to the Wolves. Okay, they're living up to some of the excitement we had. Coach is arrested by the FBI, a first in NBA history, a first in many of our lives, seeing somebody like that taken away. And the details of it are pretty awful. And then it's only gotten worse, I would say, as the day has continued to evolve on. But just a wild, chaotic day full of questions and hypotheticals and constant update reporting, and just one of those monumental shows that it's one topic and you have to know why. It's because when the FBI is involved, you pivot out of anything else.
And you'll never forget it for the rest of your life this day. I promise you that. So I guess where I go next is from the perspective of you have that, it's poker. And my initial reaction when I saw this was, man, how much money did this dude make in his career? And you go and you look, you're like, man, he made a ton of money. Why is he having to be involved in this? And according to the allegations, why they arrested him, he's the face card that's luring in the fish, as they so-called put it. These pro players luring them into these games in Vegas and LA or wherever they were being played around the world. And then with all their elaborate cheating, glasses and scanners under tables and deck shufflers and all this. And then it appears that maybe he was getting a cut, him and Damon Jones, for bringing these guys to the table to essentially have their money taken from them from the mafia at the end of the day. And as a person that doesn't make a ton of money because we all work in radio, I just shake my head like, dude, when is enough enough?
I mean, but you see, here's what the counter is, because I agree with you, man. He made $106 million in contract money. He got paid by ESPN for a handful of years to do media. He was making $2 to $3 million a year being the head coach of the Blazers, and he just signed an extension. So, and you know, like I was told a couple of days ago, coincidentally, that like this guy's super busy. He owns 1,000 McDonald's, and then listeners were correcting me that it's actually, and I don't mean to bring it up, it's Wendy's. So like he owns 1 million franchise fast food chains. And so it's like, when is enough enough? But don't you kind of naturally have to then counter and go, okay, why would a guy with this kind of gravitas and star power and name recognition, you know, a big name from an era of the league, a guy that helped break up a historic Laker team and created one of the greatest turnaround careers we've ever seen from a pro athlete, like, what would lead him to do this? Well, your natural conclusion kind of has to be that he kind of went Antoine Walker and nobody knew it, that he was just blowing through his money and he didn't have what we thought. Or he became friends with the wrong people, man. And when you're tying in the mafia, everything is kind of on the table at that point, right? So like, I think there's still a lot of questions that remain to be answered. What I find fascinating is when he was initially hired, he was hired by his old agent, Neil Olshey, the former Blazer GM, used to be a sports agent, hired him. He had 6 months of total coaching experience as an assistant, and he's brought in and guaranteed a 5-year contract. And immediately everybody here was like, what? Like, we're firing Terry Stotts for a guy that barely has coached, but he's the former player and he won a title. And okay. When he was hired, man, people brought up some shady stuff that he was connected to when he was like a first or second year player, involving, you know, sexual assault. And, you know, he never was charged with it, but people brought it up. And that's a pretty sensitive topic for a lot of people. And people were dismissed. And like character issues were brought up in the beginning and it was dismissed. And, you know, it's since blown over. Well, a podcast comes out from 2 years ago where a host who's, you know, doing a poker podcast.
Got it. I'm pretty sure I have it. Yes.
Dude, it's crazy. He's like, I heard a story of,
No, I mean that is, it was 23, and this dude is talking about finding out about these poker games that are going on in Vegas and California, and his buddy is all like, "Hey man, don't worry, man. I know these guys. It's good stuff." And he's like, "I know the guys too, and this is not legit. Like this is not real. There is definitely cheating going on at that thing, and that is very concerning." But how about this, Brandon Sprague? How about this thing has been going on for 4 years? And when we had Amy Dash on earlier, our legal insider, I brought up to her, I go, you're telling me you're the FBI and you never tip off Adam Silver that there's some shady crap going on with guys faking injuries and faking illnesses and everything else, and you just let it continue to happen for 4 years without tipping off the league where there was clearly corruption going on?
I mean, it's just a bad look, I actually think, for the FBI in that regard, because who just signed a contract extension? Chauncey Billups.
That's
like,
right.
you should be at the minimum alerted as a league. You know, you cooperate with everything. You know, the league will. And then that league should be conveying a private message of, yo, he has been implicated or he's being investigated. Yep. And I understand, like, there's stuff you got to do quietly, and, you know, you got to put together a case here. But, like, it also is a bad look for the league that the guy just got the contract extension. And you know, here's another kind of crazy part of this. Like, it goes deeper than just he was a face card luring in all these innocent rich fishes because he's Chauncey Billups, and who doesn't want to play poker with Chauncey Billups? There's a Nuggets broadcaster who tweeted a couple years ago, going to a Chauncey Billups poker tournament. Oh, hope I cash in. And people were like, that's a guy that probably makes high six figures, lured in a poker game, and suckered into giving some of his money. He's also, I don't know if you saw this, I'm sure you've been covering it, but like, there's a part of the indictment that involves the Blazers versus Bulls game in 2023. And in it, it says co-conspirator 8 informs co-conspirator about the benching of player 1 the night of the game before it became public knowledge. Well, they also in the indictment list co-conspirator 8 was drafted in 97 and played to 2014 and has been an NBA coach since 2021. That is literally Chauncey Billups. So Chauncey's not only the face card of a poker thing for the mafia, he also is indicted and brought in as a co-conspirator to tip off information of his own roster, in which the night of that game, he listed Dame as probable and Yusuf Nurkic as questionable. And then right before the game, the public knowledge was they're not going to play. But by then, a $100,000 bet had already been bet on the Bulls. The Bulls won the game by 30 points.
Brandon Sprague joins us. Dirt and Sprague in the mornings, 105.1 The Fan. Follow him on Twitter at Brandon Sprague. Tiago Splitter named the interim head coach for the Portland Trailblazers. Any thought of it being Damian Lillard for the rest of the way to kind of put a shine on what has been not a great day for the Portland Trailblazers and try to get some excitement in the fans that Lillard's going to run the show?
I mean, we joked about it. We knew it wouldn't really happen.
He's not
I believe
play,
somebody.
So.
Well, I know, but I believe somebody pointed out the CBA actually prohibits players under contract from being able to coach. And if that's wrong, then I apologize. But you had multiple listeners telling us that. As we were joking about it, right? But I'll tell you this, man. The Dame contract was great, and I understand people over there. You guys are mixed on it. I get it. I question it because it was the full mid-level, and you're paying one of those years for a year when he's not going to play basketball. But I cannot begin to stress the emotional significance that he brings to this city and what he means to the fan base here. So, okay, you overlook it, right? Man, it still is questionable from a financial move as a team to give him that contract. I actually think now it's brilliant because if you're going through something like this, are there two guys, and you guys over there have experienced both, are there two guys you'd rather have in your locker room during this moment than Drew Holiday and Damian Lillard? I don't know if there are.
Yep.
Like, you need adults right now. And so the jokes about him being the interim coach are great. It's going to be Tiago, who did a great job in the EuroLeague last year and is really known for developing. They still have Nate Bjorkgren, but Dame Lillard, Chauncey jokingly said it in a media session this year, he's the highest paid assistant coach. He legitimately now honestly is. He is going to basically be an assistant coach for this team. He was coaching them last night off the bench. So it's a questionable contract to still give out. But like right now, nobody here, I think, questions it because Drew, even with his deal, and Dame with his deal, those are two guys you want trying to help lead a young team with a couple bets on it.
I know this. If I were you all, I would get out the checkbook, convince somebody to spend some money. And Pablo Torre, if I were you all, would be a weekly guest on my show going forward until this thing is done, because this is just the beginning, my friend.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I would love to get Pablo. My producer, when I told him this news this morning, he was like frozen, and he goes, I'm going to text Shams. And I'm like, you think Shams Charania is going to respond to you right now in the middle of this reporting? Come on.
You never know. You got to try.
You got to try, right?
Yeah.
I give him credit for trying. Yeah.
I booked the guests for my show more than my producer, so I get what you're saying, but you also have to be honest with yourself and say, Shams Charania just broke one of the biggest stories in NBA history. We might have the new age Pete Rose here. He's not responding to a Portland radio station.
It's just crazy, man. I love these guys. Dirt and Sprague. It's a great morning show. 105.1 The Fan, just recently on the FM dial. Congratulations on that. Find him on Twitter at Brandon Sprague. Thanks so much for coming on, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks, my man. Love you.
Take care. Love you too. There he is, Brandon Sprague, joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline. Power Gruber Law, one call. That is all. Coming up next, Charlie's Sounds of the Day. And don't forget, you can win big this October at the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Play the Bird Bash Game Show for $50,000 in cash. Just play with your Potawatomi rewards card for entries. Prize drawings on Thursdays. Plus, your play also earns you a shot at the $300,000 December season finale. It's a Bird Bash, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. For more details, visit paysbig.com/Bird Bash. Up next, Charlie's Sounds of the Day. Top 3 clips from around the world of sports. Straight ahead on the Wisconsin Sports Daily Show, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy. Steve Sparky Fifer here. Charlie using over there, the birthday boy. 42 today for Charlie. Congratulations to him for living
You're
this
not
long.
allowed to make old jokes when you're old. Like, that's not fair.
I haven't made you older than me, though.
No, that's true. Like, you'd have to go into triple digits, maybe quadruple digits if you wanted to do that.
See, this is fun. Yeah, y'all poke your fun. When I'm dead, it won't be so funny anymore. Well, it might still be funny to y'all after that. It doesn't really matter. We got to get to Charlie's sounds of the day momentarily. Before we do that, let's check in on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line with KJ and West Allis. KJ was trying to get in before we got to Brandon Sprague. What's up, KJ?
Hey, good afternoon, Sparky. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Hey, listen, this is a horrible story, obviously, these allegations that are being alleged right now. And it couldn't be worse, the timing for the NBA, right, with the beginning of the season. But I've been following another story, Sparky, that's flying under the radar right now. And that is that hundreds of thousands of student athletes will be allowed to gamble on professional sports.
Correct.
I mean, what are we doing?
That's exactly
what
correct.
What we're doing is we're allowing the underbelly of the gambling world to have permission to go out there and seek these people
But KJ,
and rear their ugly heads.
KJ, they can say that publicly, but realistically, there's no way to monitor hundreds of thousands of kids that are playing college sports all around the country of whether or not they're gambling on an NFL or an NBA game. Like, it's impossible. There's no way you can single all these kids out and go, "Oh yeah, we're gonna suspend you or kick you out of college because you're gambling on the Packer game." There's no way to monitor. There's no way to monitor all those kids from doing that.
Yeah, I understand that, but it'll only take a few, like in this case, of the underbelly folks, if you will, to get a hold of these athletes and turn them into by getting them involved in things that they have no reason to be involved in.
Okay, but if we're talking, hold on a second. So college players gambling on the NFL. Okay, so maybe there'll be a connection at some point between a college kid and an NFL guy, and maybe that's how that gets going. Odds are, though, is it probably gets going more in the point shaving realm for college sports, with if it's going to be the alleged mafia connections or whatever, because these college kids, while some of them are making good NIL money, there are still plenty that aren't making the NIL money because they're not as good as some of the other guys on the team that don't have that much money coming in. That could have been going on for ages now. Thanks for the call. Just think about that. We've had point shaving scandals at colleges before, right? Where people are making money and throwing games and all of that. It's not like the mafia is a new thing, people. Been around for a long time, seen movies, whole deal. It's real. Now, again, we'll see how this all plays out, because right now, these are all allegations and everybody's going to have to prove their stuff and everything else at the end of the day. I tend to put my money on the FBI, not meaning to use a gambling reference, but if I was betting which one I think is going to win this one, I'd probably bet that the FBI has a good chance of winning this case.
Seems like they're a little bit more prepared for this than other people. Yeah.
1, 2, 3. What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, time to get to our Sounds of the Day, brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, best way to win cash on your favorite teams of sports season. Which players are going off, which ones are over hype. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. It's simple to play. Pick more or less on at least 2 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks now also offers stacks, which means you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Funny enough, I stacked last night. Giannis, more than 24.5 points, got 37. Giannis, more than 12 rebounds, got 14. Con Knipple, more than 10 points, got 11. Winner, chicken dinner over there at Prize Picks. It's a beautiful thing. Now, I use a flex play. I didn't use a power play, but still got paid out some good money there. So make sure to download the Prize Picks app today and use code SPARKY, SPARKY, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code SPARKY to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. All right, Charlie, what do you got?
All right. So first up, we're going to head over to the Adam Schefter podcast, where Schefter himself was discussing Aaron Rodgers versus Green Bay and why he's not buying into what Aaron Rodgers is trying to sell right now.
Rodgers played the Jets earlier this year. During the week, no big deal. We're playing the Jets. And then afterwards, I'm glad we beat everybody in that organization, right? Petty Aaron Rodgers is a great Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
We love to see it. And let's not forget, this is an organization that essentially left him for basically a younger partner, right?
Yeah.
They left him. Like, they saw somebody they liked. They drafted that quarterback. They groomed that quarterback. They were ready to turn it over to that quarterback. And they said, I know, okay, yeah, we'll trade you now. And they've been looking and open to doing that for a little while. So it finally got done. He's going to remember all that.
So this is something we also should know. Adam Schefter and Aaron Rodgers, same agency. Okay, so like when all this went down the first time, I kept telling everybody, look, they're in the same agents representing, same group of agents represent both of these guys. So obviously, more times than not, he's going to speak from that perspective. And no matter how much Aaron Rodgers wants to say this isn't a revenge game, come on, man. He wants to win this game. TJ Lang was on earlier today with 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Romney Makloff. And Lang even laughed when it was brought up of whether or not he'd want to win this football game. Brett Good was on, the long snapper, was on this morning on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and Trevor, and he kind of chuckled at the idea. So everybody that knows this dude knows you may not publicly say it, but he wants to beat Jordan Love and the Packers. And I would think if I'm Jordan Love, right? Student and mentor, you want to beat the mentor if you have that opportunity, just like a son and a dad playing basketball, right? And the dad kicks the son's butt all the way up. And then at a certain age, the son realizes, I think I can get him now. And that first time you get your dad, man, that's a big old deal, right? That's a big deal. Same thing here with Rodgers and Jordan Love. What's next?
All right. Next up, we're going to head over to the Cincinnati Bengals, where Joe Flacco, another elderly quarterback over there, was discussing what it's like to play in a state for a team where your family isn't also living and kind of the struggles with that. He had this funny anecdote about eating alone.
I think there's always a challenge of sitting in a room by yourself and being lonely. So for me, it's trying to find ways to maybe stay over here a little bit longer and then, just kind of take myself out of that mindset, call home, go sit at a restaurant by myself and realize that, man, that's pretty enjoyable to do. After there's not too many situations. I tell people all the time, I used to see guys sitting at a bar by themselves or, just sitting by themselves eating and grabbing a little meal. And I'm like, man, I feel so bad for that guy. Like, you almost want to go join him. And now I realize that dude was in heaven. And not to say that's obviously not what I want. I'd rather be at home sitting at the dinner table with my kids and hearing what the hell they were talking about all day. But if you have to do it, then you might as well take advantage of it. So, just little things like that.
I will say that I have, back when I was single back in those days, I used to travel all the time by myself. I would go out to dinner and all of that all the time by myself, whether I was at the radio station between shifts or after a post-game show, late shift, or whatever the case may be. And because I tend to talk to everybody, going on vacation by myself was no big deal. I'd make friends instantaneously on the first night with a couple of people at the bar, wherever I was, and all was good after that. So that's never bothered me. To his point, I'd much rather hang out with my family than go anywhere by myself now. Like, going by myself somewhere, I'm not a big fan of it. I'd rather hang with the family.
Which I understand, I guess. I don't know, from Joe Flacco's perspective, I get that, you know, he's away from his family a lot and stuff still, but at the same time, he's a veteran quarterback in this league. He's gone through this for a while now. His kids are probably a little bit older at this point too.
Yep.
Like, is it that much of a struggle compared to like maybe some of these other quarterbacks, these younger guys that just now have kids? Like, I'm pretty sure he probably loves doing all this stuff on his own. He doesn't seem mad about going to go and play football again each year, every single time. He just goes out there and goes and plays football.
Until you have kids.
He's 800 years old.
Until you have kids and realize that you missed them growing up. And all of a sudden, boom, they're 21, 22, and they're off and gone and out of the house. And you realize that you didn't see half of what they did growing up. You missed out on everything. Mom may have got to see everything, but you missed out on everything. And yeah, you can look back and go, well, I provided millions of dollars and they're taken care of and all of that. And from that aspect, it's worth it. There's still a part of you that I think still a little bit regrets a little bit of missing their childhood.
I guess, but I also feel like from Joe Flacco's perspective, just retire then. I mean, you've made a lot of money to your point. Like,
yeah.
If you really wanted to be there, I guess be there then.
But again, I mean, I've heard so many actors and actresses talk about essentially leaving their family to pursue their dream and don't regret it whatsoever. All right, that'll do it for this hour. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Coming up on the other side, time for our green and gold update. We'll dive into Aaron Rodgers versus Jordan Love coming up next.